Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. Well, after a lot of sitting and scratching my head and wiring stuff, I finally got this thing back together yesterday after work, and I went through and tested the systems to see what was what, and came up with a few issues. One of them is that the contactor, for some reason, is just always on, and there's something wrong with the mower motor PTO wiring. This switch, I think I've got wired backwards. But while investigating that, I turned the key off and just on a whim, turned this knob up, and the mower motor kind of moved a little bit. And I thought, that's weird. And I had a little panic and turned it off, and then turned it back on again and see what happened. And it made some hissing and some popping, and then a lot of smoke came out from roughly this entire area. So today, I'm going to get this back apart again and see if I can't find something out. Let's see what we see. All right, guys. Well, I got this thing apart, and I had a heck of a time finding where the problem was. I've seen these dudes come apart before, and they usually do it in a pretty spectacular fashion with fire and smoke and stuff coming out from the bottom of the board, singeing and burning the paint behind it. But I took that off, and there's no evidence whatsoever of it being a problem. And I even put power to it, and the little LED comes on, indicating that it works. I've never actually seen one of these DC-DCs come apart, go out, but I suppose it could have, although I'm not exactly sure how this would have been in the circuit, because the problem, like I said, was I had the key off, and I turned the rheostat on, and for some reason this is backfeeding power from somewhere or another, and I'm not sure how. But even if so, the power would come in through this cable and down to this terminal, this contactor. It goes around, goes to the bottom of this relay, and that's it. If this relay is closed, the output of this relay is this wire here, and it comes around and to this thing and does some crazy splices. But ultimately it goes into the DC-DC, or it comes up to this junction and then goes into that dealie. So I thought it could have been a situation where power or voltage was coming in through here and then going into that, and then that just took a whole lot. It didn't make sense when I was saying it to myself, and it doesn't make sense now. But I flipped this thing over, and there's no evidence of it being bad either. So this still works. The relay still works. Everything on here works. And then I saw that right there. See how that one's nice and closed and sealed? This is a pressure relief right there. And what happens, this is an output capacitor. And wherever the hell this got voltage from, whenever I went to, take the voltage from that source and spit it out to the motor, that said, nope, I'm out. And there it went. But what I don't understand is, where did the voltage come from? And then I started trying to get this DC-DC to work, and I can't get it to work. I put a positive from the battery onto here where it's supposed to go, and then just ground the negative, and then I've got my little yellow test lead right there, and I'll just touch this against the positive, and then the relay works, my disconnect works, and I can put a voltmeter there, and there's definitely voltage coming out. So voltage is most certainly going into the DC-DC, but this pink wire, that's my 12 volt out. I'm not getting any 12 volts. And I even skipped this and went to this little junction and redid this junction, just so I could have a better thing to put a meter on. But there's definitely 12 volts getting in, but there's no 12 volts coming out. Sorry, there's definitely 48 volts going in, but there's no 12 volts coming out. In fact, if I do a continuity test between ground and the positive going into the DC-DC, there's continuity, which is odd. So what I think happened, there are capacitors in here. I've spoke about this before. It causes kind of a spark. It was sort of the reason behind this thing in the first place. It causes a spark, and there's a little bit of a load on here, but these capacitors charge up, and they take a little while to discharge. So I think what might have happened is, when I was doing my testing, I had the key on. This was making 12 volts. I turned the key off, and then tried to send power to this thing, and it gave a little spurt, and that might have been this capacitor discharging into here. Hell, I don't know. Whatever. The moral of the story is that this thing's crap out. So I got a couple more of those, so I'll replace it. But I think this DC-DC is crapped out too. And it may have been a rapid discharge of that capacitor to make the motor run or something. I don't know. But I'm going to take this DC-DC out and, you know, do a little bit more testing with it. But I think this thing's dead too, so I'm going to order a couple more of them. But anyway, that's annoying. Something I am going to have to do is I need to find out why my little holding circuit for my main contactor doesn't work. And I think the reason behind that, maybe, is my ignition switch back there. There's 5 terminals on that thing. I'm using 4 of them. And there's a B, which I always thought was battery. And that's where the 48 volts goes in. And then there's a S, that's my start. And oh, that's my white and blue. That's my white and blue. And I've got that white and blue coming over here to this 48 volt disconnect. So that's incorrectly wired. I think I may have found my problem. I need to that contact disconnect, that top relay there. That's the one that's supposed to be my holding circuit, but it's not. So I think that may be part of the problem. That blue wire with the black stripe, that one right there, needs to be where this light blue, or sorry, this white wire with a light blue stripe is. That needs to be on the start, and that other one needs to be. Those two are in the wrong spot. So that might be my problem. My other little problem that I have, like I said before, I think I have these 2 swapped. So I'll need to swap those around. Those are pretty easy fixes. But I do need to get another DC-DC. Because without that DC-DC, I can't operate any of these contactors. It's all right. That's kind of where we're at. Gonna order one of those. And this isn't like those other YouTube channels where I've already ordered it and I've already installed it, and the next scene is going to be me driving around the yard. I haven't actually ordered it. I just now found this out. So, all right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.